Well, today's the day. As of right now, my Elsword career is over. Some of you have already heard the news. I've hinted at it on streams and in private chats for a while now. But for the rest of you, this might come as a surprise. After all, I've said for a while that I'll see things through to the end. But today, I'm moving on, and I want to talk about why. For me, playing Elsword has always been kind of a compromise. I mean, most arena games are wildly stacked in one direction or another, and you have to waste hours on end to keep your character up to date. And to top it off, sometimes the game just breaks for no good reason. It's never really been in a particularly good place. But once in a blue moon, you get a real match. For a few short minutes, Elsword almost feels like a real fighting game. For a long time, I stayed around just for those. As rare as they were beautiful moments, and the chance to learn and improve was almost addictive. But lately, it feels like it's almost impossible to find a real match. I can spend hours in Arena with nothing to show for it, and I think we have KOG to blame for that. I've been playing Elsword for 3 years, and a lot has changed since 2012. If I tried to cover everything, we'd be here for hours, or more likely, this video would never have been made in the first place. And chances are, if you're still watching, you don't need me to sit here and lecture you about the state of the game. But out of all the things that have bothered me over the years, one change has stuck with me more than any other, and I'll try to explain. For me, Elsword's biggest strength has always been its character designs. It's a unique cast with a really wide range of playstyles and options. Everyone feels crisp and precise to control without being too mechanically intense, and every character approaches the game in a different way. They all felt unique, and the way their tools interacted made the game feel like a dance. But as time went on, characters changed. Take the Chung revamp. Iron Paladin used to be a fairly middle-of-the-road character. He was clunky and technical, but with a lot of strong normals and a solid setup game. Fast forward a few months, and the same character uses nothing but rocket jumps and guard in neutral, and all their setups come down to a single invincible button that stuns the whole screen. And that kind of design has infected every part of the game. Yamaraja gains 2 orbs every 10 seconds by doing nothing but whiffing mana swap. High-level runeslayers will float around the stage doing air rune backdash for minutes on end. I probably don't even need to talk about Ad. It isn't exclusive to good characters either. Blademaster is widely considered one of the worst characters in the game, and he has Burning Rush, a full-screen armored dash that starts up instantly and costs 10 MP. Code Nemesis hasn't been strong since Season 1, and she has Photon Flash, a 30 MP invincible backdash with evasion on it. Whether they're strong or not, it seems like every character has those kinds of tools now. Massive utility, 0 risk, and sometimes 0 cost. The kind of calculated, careful space control that I love has given way to a waiting game. Wait for your opponent to blow their escape. Wait for them to exhaust their resources, and pray for a punish opportunity afterwards. It's not a dance anymore, it's a minefield. After the Windsneaker changes, I spent a long time looking for a different character to play, but nothing ever stuck. I think I understand why now. After the skill tree revamp and PvP Season 3 and all the scattered rebalances, I don't think there are any characters I want to play anymore. A year ago, I said this game will be dead in a year. 2 years ago, I said the same thing. Somehow I was wrong twice, and I'm not about to make it a third. After all, even after all the changes, I guess things aren't really that different from 3 years ago. The game climate's been the same ever since I first joined. Everyone I know seems to agree that the game is pretty much garbage, and every patch seems like it's the worst the game's ever been. In a game centered around vertical progression and catering to big spenders, I guess it's no surprise that competitive PvP gets trashed with every update. And being in a second-class server doesn't help much either. With no line of communication from North America to Korea, it always seems like our complaints are falling on deaf ears. The return of 2v2 is the only thing we've managed to push, and if the game ever sees a public spectator mode, I'll be surprised. The point is, the game's been in decline for a while. Less of a downward spiral and more of a swan dive. I could have picked any point in the game's lifetime, pointed to the dumb stuff of the week, and used it as a justification for leaving. The state of the game is really only noteworthy by comparison. As far as competition goes, Elsword's problems are deep in the design, and they've been around since the very beginning. I guess I'm leaving now because I'm tired. I've put a lot into the game, and lately it feels like I'm not getting it back. Arena sessions leave me bored and frustrated, streams leave me exhausted, and farming for footage just goes nowhere. For a long time, I kept playing because I thought it was what I ought to do, instead of what I thought was fun. And there's a lot of stuff waiting for me. I've got all sorts of personal projects, a growing Twitch and YouTube community, and plenty of games to become the best at. 3 years ago, I didn't have a lot to occupy my time, so the game that I picked up as a diversion eventually snowballed into what it is today. Now it feels like I need 12 extra hours in every day. Spending that precious time on a dead-end game just doesn't make sense anymore. So making this call feels a little liberating, not gonna lie. But even though I'm excited to move on, I'll always be a little bit upset about the game that Elsword could have been. It's been a wild ride. I've learned a lot and I've had a lot of fun. So even though I'm leaving, I don't regret the time that I spent with Elsword. These years have been hectic and heart-wrenching, but I'll never forget them, or the people that I've met, even if that sounds cheesy as hell. So without further ado, here's some last words. Shoutouts to Mabel, my inspiration to start making Elsword videos, and my inspiration to stop. Shoutouts to Bliss for teaching me backflip shot double jump. Without it, my wind sneaker wouldn't be the same. Shoutout to Fritz for running some killer tournaments and keeping the competitive fire alive. Shoutouts to Mishani for the inspiration and a lifetime of ASMR videos. Shoutouts to everyone who's gifted me gear. Without those little boosts, the career probably would have been over a long time ago. Shoutouts to Masky for some killer Chung play and some late night real talk. Shoutouts to Chase, world's best ad, and as of today, world's best commentator. Shoutouts to Fendo for sticking to your guns and playing what you love. Shoutouts to Safety. A long time ago, you gave me wind sneaker advice, and it taught me more than I think you know. Shoutouts to Isaac for reminding me to lighten up a little. Shoutouts to Venus, a worthy rival and all-around chill guy. Shoutouts to Esprit for teaching me lag-safe wind sneaker loops and being Australian. Shoutouts to Vic. If you need your ice burners back, let me know. Shoutouts to all the staff of the Pan Am Summer Series. I'll be watching in 2016, and I expect some good stuff. And finally, shoutouts to everyone watching. It's been a long run, and without an audience to share it with, it wouldn't have been nearly as fun. I guess this is it. This video's already long enough, so I won't drag it out. But thank you all for watching, and I hope you'll stick around. This chapter may be over, but I've got a lot more to share with you. Good luck.